Hello, everyone. Thank you for showing up live. And we'll give people a minute to show up. And it's great to see your comments already here. I don't know, this might be kind of like a cheater topic, really, because I feel like I want to do summer planning right now because planning is way better than like finishing out a plan. Let's just plan the next plan instead of finish. Start the next planning season and not finish out the current season, right? But, it's good to do some mental preparation before we get started. So that's kind of what this session here today, about half an hour or so, is going to be about. We aren't necessarily going to make the plan for summer together right here, right now, but we are going to think about our expectations for the summer and how to go about planning in such a way that we focus on the important things and we're ready to jump back in to the regular routine when that time rolls around. So I would be interested to hear for your summer, when does your summer start and how long is your summer? Because that's a big piece of it. You have to kind of know those bounds before you get started. What length of time do you have? All right. Rachel's started 3 weeks ago. 11 weeks long, starts June 9th. Ours starts in 3 weeks, kind of 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, something like that. We have this week, and then next week is normal school. The week after that, we will do testing and wrap up. That won't take the whole week. So as soon as we finish testing, we'll be done that week. And yes, and then actually I haven't counted. I think it's 8 weeks that we have. We usually have somewhere between 6 and 8 weeks for the summer. So, and I see that seems to be similar here. I'm seeing 9 weeks, 10 weeks, 11 weeks. Yeah, into August, it's too hot to be outside in Florida. Yeah, when it's hot outside, that's just a great time to start the routines back up again. They're different routines than our, fall or spring routines, because we want to get outside in the morning when it's cool. And then there's that whole long hot afternoon. And if we didn't have schoolwork to do, there would honestly be too much screen time. So we start taking time off here in May when it's nice and wonderful outside and everyone is spring feverish anyway. We want to be outside. So it works for us with our weather, so different weather is going to affect different people's plans, and it should. Like, that's totally, there shouldn't be one cookie cutter school calendar that fits everyone everywhere, because it should adjust based on how the weather makes life bearable or not. So yes. So what do you have going on this summer? You have to start off your planning by thinking about when it starts and when it ends and how long you have, because that's going to dictate how much you can get done, right? And what you're going to be focusing on. And then what's already on the calendar for the summer, right? My sister's getting married this summer at our house, in our yard, not inside our house, but in our yard. So it's like, there's the first half of our summer. That's in late June. So it's like everything from until school is out until the wedding. It's like, I just have to say whatever school planning I get done is good, but I'm not going to make any finishing it up goals until after the wedding because it's a wedding. So, what are the big things, the big rocks that are already in your summer that you need to plan around? Because it's super tempting to just start that brain dump list of what are the things I want to do this summer and list them all out. And, it's basically a wish list that's not really tied to reality. And then then our expectations get out of whack and we think that we should be able to do it all because it was on our list. And we haven't really adjusted our expectations based on reality and, worked around what's already in our days. We can't just add as much as we want to, right? So what are the big rocks in your summer? And how are you going to plan around those? And yes, so ours involves a wedding. Looks like Sarah's involves 4 weeks there are only 4 weeks where you don't have house guests. So we have that sort of thing, or long distance travel, or something like harvest, or, long hours. You have to take that into account also as you're making your plan, right? A major house remodel. Yes. So it's like, put those down. Those are the top priorities, and everything else has to be little rocks to try to fit around that. Just because it's summer doesn't mean that you get to pick any project that you want and be able to fit it in, right? So, the summer always starts and I say, so my project is to clean and organize the entire house, right? Because school's over. I have all this time now, right? And so, what would be great is if the house were completely cleaned and organized for us to start school up again. That would be ideal, right? So that's what I'm going to do. Like, no biggie. Not. And then, maybe you have summers where you need something bigger put in, and you kind of getting creative to fill that time, because kids at loose ends for a long period of time is a recipe for irritation, to say the least. So I think the littler they are, the faster that builds, but the easier it is to occupy them because the easier they are to entertain. The bigger and the older that they get, the harder it is to find something to occupy them. But if you can find a hobby, then it's also they can be more self-directed if they get involved in a hobby. Like, even something as small as, is not small, but like our son and a friend of his got used Fitbits. And so they ended up setting their own goals for, 25,000 steps in a day or whatever. And suddenly they just want to walk all day. So we give them a little boundary, or they tell us a route that they want to take. And then my son's interested in maps and plotting routes and getting approval and then going on the walk. And so it wasn't, things like that, where it's not like an expensive vacation or an out of the house all day thing, but it's something of interest and something new, a way to spend time in a healthy, engaged kind of way. Or you can do with a lot of work out and theme your entire summer around something. Yeah, or board games. Those are great, especially if you do have to be draped over an air conditioner inside. Board games are super helpful for that. And there are some awesome board games. Like, it's not Monopoly and Scrabble anymore. If you have double-digit and up middle school kids, adults, it starts at like Settlers of Catan. But look at something like Pandemic, or what are some of the other games? So tell us your favorite board games. Add them to the chat box there. because those are great for kids. Some of the board games for younger kids that we have are Dixit, Camel Up, Carcassonne, Cribbage. Yes. Risk, Stratego, Battleship. Stratego is a favorite with my 8-year-old. Ticket to Ride. Yeah. There we go. So, maybe get a board game every other week, or, sometimes you can find them cheaper. Or I don't think you can get used board games, or at least not easily or readily. But boardgamegeek.com. We are board game geeks, my family. So Board Game Geek has great reviews, and detailed reviews where you can figure out if it's going to work for you or not. Okay. So finding ways to occupy the kids is necessary, right? Because it's super easy to fill up our time. We have projects, but we need to make sure that our kids have projects too. Otherwise, they're just at loose ends, and that's not going to be good for anyone. So what are things for our kids that don't involve us being their cruise directors all summer? Because that's not, that's not only going to drive us crazy, but that's not healthy for them either. I like to think of the summer or any kind of break weeks as time for the kids to, have a life of their own, to practice living an interested life, right? They've been doing school, they've had the structure, knowledge, instruction, practice, and the breaks are a time for them to go forth and use it, do something with it. And not in a schooly kind of way, but in a life enriching kind of way. So, is someone interested in making a quilt? We can provide supplies, and then summer really is providing the time for them to really dig into something, what maybe cooking or sewing, gardening, different, what are some other things? I'm sure you guys have ideas, but finding those hobbies, or even if it is painting and we just kind of grin and bear it, or say, do it outside because now the weather's nice, and just preparing ourselves, that it means more mess. So just FYI, summer isn't entirely vacation mode for us to where we can do whatever we want to do and the kids are going to keep everything clean or something. No, there will be more mess in the summer. So we're aligning our expectations here, because they're going to be trying things and doing things, and that's what they should be doing. And they can help learn to clean up, but there's going to be more dirt. There's going to be mud. There's going to be, whatever, paint or sewing supplies, all these things. You say, oh, I don't want to get that out. I know it. I don't either. But that is part of what the summer is for. So we can build that into our plan, whether that's one day a week or a certain time of the day. And yes, definitely lots of time outside for sure. And also, another piece that I really think should be in our summers, whether that's regularly, like an extra day a week, or maybe a sustained 2-day trip or something. Doesn't have to be outside of the home, but that makes it easier if it's out of town. But consider this. Consider a phone and screen free part of your summer, whether that's a trip out of town where you just have your phones for emergencies so that they stay off unless you have an emergency, and the tablets don't come, it's not for movie watching. We're going to do hiking, we're going to do whatever, but we aren't going to sit in front of screen. We're going to play board games, we're going to do things or talk. And you can do that at home too. And it might be harder because it's harder than to break the habits, but it might actually, if you do a screen-free vacation, a screen vacation at home, that can be particularly enlightening because you start recognizing where it's hard and where people's habits are. Those times where we turn to our phone or the kids turn to the tablet or the movie or whatever. And when we notice those patterns, then we can maybe compensate in our regular plan. And so we can see some of those, because it's super easy to just turn to the easy occupations, and screens are the easy occupations. So it's really easy for them to take over. But we can take some small bit of our summer for a kind of a detox of our attention. And there's not the complications of, well, but we have an online class, or we have this, or we have that in our regularly scheduled life. It's like, okay, we can have some focus time and realize just how hard that is for everyone. And it can help your time as a family, because it's helping your attention expand and focus, and even just that awareness of how, I don't know, addicted, but how ingrained the habits are of turning to the screen. So I would highly encourage working in some kind of vacation from screen time in to your summer plans. And I forget where I didn't write down my outline. I had something else after that. So lots of outside time, though. That really is what the summer is all about, especially early in the summer where it's not too hot and where we've been cooped up doing our book work. But also paying attention as you plan things out, whether it's vacations or museums or beach trips or park days or whatever, like take into consideration the structure that's not optional, right? Even though it's summer, people still want 3 meals a day. Even though it's summer, some people might need naps. Even though it's summer and it's light until 10 p.m., the small children should not be staying up till 10 p.m., right? So kind of put those bounds in place as you plan. And maybe here and there on a vacation day or whatever, you can do a late night. We definitely do late nights for like the 4th of July fireworks. There are times for that, but it's easy in the summer to let things creep. And then that's just making it super hard in the fall when we try to get back into a routine. It might make it more attractive to get back into the routine because we're like, okay, we all need to get back to bedtime, but it's hard. And then the summer is just going to be extra hard on everyone if there's lack of sleep and just odd timing of everything all the time. If everything's unpredictable, then the children will be asking more questions more often. They'll be pestering or more easily irritated, and you'll be more easily irritated. And it's not because there's not schoolwork. It's because everything's unpredictable. So everything's up for grabs. So everyone's trying to grab what they want from everyone else, right? So the structure, still keeping some structure when you're doing your summer at home. Structure does often go out the window when you're at someone else's home, or even if you're on vacation though and you have a napper, they're going to need to nap, so you have to work that into the plan. Yes, blackout curtains help, but it's also just paying attention to the time yourself, realizing what time it is, even though it's light outside, and not staying all night at the barbecue, and losing track of time, things like that, where it's still our responsibility as parents to parent even in the summer, and to expect that as we move forward. Summer isn't everyone's off of responsibility duty. It's just the responsibilities change, and some responsibilities don't change. So we got to keep our expectations in line for that. So as you're thinking about what you want to do this summer, and you're thinking about vacations, or maybe some media fasting, or pieces that go into your day in the summer, and projects you want to do, the big things that are already on your calendar, just start with a big brain dump and lay it all out there and get it all out. The hopes and dreams and wishes, the big things, the little things, the things that have to happen, the things you really wish could happen, even though you know they won't. Put it all out on a big brain dump. And then circle, the top 3. And maybe the top 3 have already been circled for you by other people, like having house guests or a wedding or whatever. Your already planned vacation, that sort of thing. Those get circled, even if it's already planned, even if you're looking forward to it. Circle those big things. And if it's an obligation where a lot of other people are depending on you, say wedding, house guests, these things that involve a production of some kind, and extra people coming in, give yourself buffer time afterwards. You're not just going to be able to bounce into productive time immediately after people leave, or immediately after you return home from a 2-week vacation. Make sure as you're planning out your summer that you give yourself margin to recover, even from vacations, which are supposed to be, recovery, right? Build in packing and preparation time at the front end, and build in recovery time when you're back home. Even if you can't block off a lot of time, block off your expectations. That you're not going to be able to just jump right in and start with the next project right away. You are going to need some downtime. You're going to need to sleep some more, or just take it slow and easy and enjoy it, and don't feel guilty about that. So build it in so that you can take it and enjoy it, and have that time of rest and renewal, and not feel guilty about it, because that will help it be even more restful. And you will actually recover faster and be able to move into productive time if you just have already planned that and you're enjoying it instead of trying to push against it or get out of it. And as you look at that big brain dump and you're picking few things, favor the habits over the big projects, because, I'm always tempted to put clean and organize the entire house every summer. And there have been summers where I have tried that. And there have even been some summers where I feel like I got kind of close, at least for me, closer. And they're good projects and it's good work, but it's not a finish line. The clean and organize the house type goals aren't finish lines. And when we put them as summer projects, it's easy to shift into that mode and feel like I'm just going to get to the end of this and then it'll be over. And that's not the way it actually works in real life, because we use the house and our needs change and our stuff changes. The season will change and we'll have to get out all the clothes over again. So the storage system, I don't even want to think about changing out clothes. We've kind of started, the slow trickle of everything being out. And you can try cleaning and organizing that whole system and troubleshooting it and getting it just so. And then it'll be time for winter stuff. And it'll still be this, it might be better, but it's not going to be the sort of thing where it's ever done. You're going to keep doing these things. So it's better to iterate, to say, well, I'm going to improve this area and improve that area, but not get to an end goal of the whole house being cleaned and organized, or even, a certain area. You're going to experience greater momentum moving forward if you focus on some habits during the summer. And summer, it's this trade-off where it's easier to work on habits because we have more energy, because we aren't doing all the daily responsibilities all the time, right? We're not homeschooling. So we have some extra mental or physical energy, stamina, resources. On the other hand, the schedule is so unpredictable that we can lose habits that we had because the same triggers, the cues for doing our habits might not be in place anymore. The cues and triggers might be different during the summer than the winter, so that can actually make it trickier to build habits. But if you can identify not more than 1 to 3 habits that are your personal habits that would really help you moving forward, whether it's summer or fall or winter, whatever season it is, those core habits of maybe drinking more water. It can be as simple as that: drinking more water, getting more steps, reading your Bible, doing a load of laundry a day, making your bed, those small little habits, and just run with that as your summer project. Is just doing this small action as often as I can is a great way to spend your summer. More than, sorry, my phone's ringing. More than trying to get a big project done. So just having those expectations in line with reality and being happy with the small wins and the small daily steps that are actually going to get you farther than a big leap forward that tires you out and you crash, and then half of the work is undone in a few days anyway, right? That's a super sustainable summer. Love it. So pick those habits though that you can do. Just pay attention to those cues that do change and find cues that are consistent. So maybe meal times, maybe the summer is the time where you work on getting up at a certain time, because that's going to be easier because it's lighter. So then you can have that habit before it starts getting dark and tired and harder. And even if you have a project like clean and organize the entire house, if you can break that down into small steps where you can maybe do maybe the summer time is to completely clear these certain surfaces and give these things homes, and then build the habit of keeping that space clear, where it's not the whole house. It's like a concentrated corner. And the summer project part is finding things homes, not finishing, not getting to an end point where now it's organized. Now I can ignore it, because give it 1 week after that and it's not going to be organized. You have to then keep it up. So you say, okay, after this space is cleared and things have their homes and I've put them in their homes, what habits do I need to have in place to keep it up, keep up with that, to keep things in their place. Is it daily? Is it weekly? And then start practicing that the rest of the summer. But really just narrowing down and not getting too grandiose, but picking the small steps that will give you kind of that big long-term payoff. So brain dump, narrow things down, and keep your expectations lined up with reality. So those expectations are the key to keeping our attitudes in check all summer and not feeling like this summer is our time to do what we want, which will make us grabby and cranky. But okay, this summer is a time for me to help prepare my kids for living a full and interesting life. They're going to need parenting. They're going to need structure. We're going to need to clean up more because there is going to be more mess and different mess. And all of that is good. All of this is part of a good, full life. So we can jump in and, with God's help, keep up our cheerful attitude. So thank you, everyone. And I will talk to you later.